Hello my friends, how are you today? Hope you're all doing well. I welcome you all back to another episode of TTBurger Remastered game reviews, and we have a lot to talk about here as we venture further into my Ace Combat Remastered series review, as we're in episode 1, part 4 of 6, I meant to say, and as we dive into the PlayStation 2 era, we got a lot to talk about. But those of you who missed what happened in the last part of my Ace Combat Remastered series review, here you go. I got this thing called a TTBurger recap, so I can show you all what happened in part 3, as I took a look at Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere for the PlayStation. Gave it a 3 out of 10 because of a lot of the content that was taken out of the North American version, the fact that it felt more like a sci-fi anime futuristic flying game instead of an Ace Combat game, and the fact that the game felt too easy and stuff like that and everything. It did have some goods, like some good graphics and stuff like that, and a bunch of missions, but it was overshadowed by the short missions and more, and it was a game I do not recommend you all play unless you're a hardcore Ace Combat fan. But now we're going to go to the year 2001 of November 1st and dive into the PlayStation 2 era of Ace Combat, as we take a look at the very first Ace Combat game on the PlayStation 2, called Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies by Namco. Now, after Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere and how bad that game was, I was concerned about what would happen for the next game in the franchise. I thought, oh great, they're gonna go down the road of Ace Combat 3 and it's gonna be shit again, or it could be good. But my doubts were proven wrong, because Ace Combat 4 is the best game of the Ace Combat franchise in my opinion. Everything about the game is perfect and improved over Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere for sure. It was like they lost the last ball game and won the next game by a home run, and the fireworks celebrated, and that is what we get for this game. The story here of Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies has a much deeper storyline than the first 3 games. The story puts you in the role of a silent protagonist pilot called Mobius 1, who is a pilot for the ISAF, which stands for Independent States Air Force, in the year 2004, where 4 years ago, a giant asteroid called the Ulysses 1994 XF04 impacted Earth, killing many civilians and making the continent of Usea unstable. UCA developed an array of anti-asteroid railguns called Stonehenge to destroy the asteroid fragments, but it didn't work. Erusia, one of the largest nations in Usea, that was almost completely destroyed by the asteroids, the military launched a surprise attack on the neighboring nation of Sans Salvation, where they captured the railguns and used them as anti-aircraft weapons, and war broke out between Erusia and the other nations of Usea. You are Mobius 1, you must stop the Erusian military and free Usea. The story is told through still images, which are narrated by a man whose name you do not know, whose parents were killed when an ISAF pilot crashed into the cape where his parents lived, killing them, and the plane was shot down by Yellow 13, the top Erusian pilot of the Yellow Squadron. The story is very deep and very engaging, and even though the cutscenes are still images with voice in the background, they still work really well. For the presentation, the game is fantastic for a PlayStation 2 game, and the graphics still look great to this day. This time, they bring back the feel of the first 2 games, making it more feel like a military war jet combat game, rather than an anime sci-fi futuristic game. We got detailed plane models, which still look good to this day. I mean, the planes look so realistic for its time. You actually felt like you were flying in them. The backgrounds were great, and like, sure, you can't really see much of the backgrounds when you're flying around and stuff like that. And sure, like some of the stuff like the buildings may look a little low-gen stuff, but still, the backgrounds look great for its time, definitely. And the game also runs at a very smooth frame rate here. Sure, you can't really tell here, but the frame rate here is very smooth. No slowdown at all. With crisp lighting and great cutscenes as well, make the graphics fantastic for a PlayStation 2 game. For sound is also fantastic. Fantastic voice acting, which is pretty much just like the man narrating in the cutscenes, and like your squadron people and Skynet and the other and AWACS talking during the missions was a new thing for its time. They added more dialogue in game to add more to the story. And what's interesting is that in the Japanese version, they also use the English audio track. There's no Japanese audio track, and that's fine the way it is, because I get it. Like it's supposed to take place in like a North American area, so that, or an English speaking like I answered that, so that's what they did there. The music is fantastic. This time, instead of like rock tunes that were used in the first 2 Ace Combat games, we have orchestral tunes that fit the game perfectly like a glove. And the other sound effects sound great too, like your machine gun and your missiles, and when you destroy stuff, it sounds great as well. So sound definitely a plus as well. For gameplay is fucking amazing, fucking perfect. It cannot get any fucking better than that because the game is fucking awesome. Everything about the game screams perfect. Perfect! Screams perfect! Like the last 3 games, you pick an aircraft, you do the objectives, and destroy the targets. This time, the missing aircraft from Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere are back this time, like the F-4E, the F-14A, and more, bringing you a total of 21 aircraft, but the car designs for them look great as well. They also brought back the ability to unlock planes with money you earn, which was definitely one of my favorite parts of the first 2 games, and I was very upset when they got rid of that in Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere. And the difficulty in Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies is balanced perfectly, like a seesaw going up and down and stops perfectly equally. That explains the difficulty. The controls are smooth and responsive, and like they definitely learned from like the controls of the last 2 games and made them smoother and smoother. Here, they're smooth to perfection and responsive as well. The game takes advantage of the DualShock analog controls where like you move and turn with the left analog stick and you can move the camera with the right analog stick. You have 18 missions in Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies, and while that is less than the ones in Ace Combat 2 and Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, they are longer than they were in the other games, and some of them have like multiple parts where you have to like run away, like to try to escape or stay low to the ground to avoid an enemy attack and more. And they're longer, and sure they can get a little bit repetitive at times because you can mostly do the same thing, but since they're very enjoyable and they're long, I don't have an issue with this at all. So my final thoughts here are, Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies, if you can find it, I completely recommend you pick this up because it's, in my opinion, the best one in the franchise, definitely. I have no complaints with this game, so my final thoughts, I'm giving it a perfect 10 out of 10. It's the best score to give it because everything about it screams perfect. Perfect! Okay, I had to do that again. You're perfect, and it's the best game in the franchise, definitely. And that's it for episode 1, part 4 of 6 of my Ace Combat Remastered series review. Stay tuned, we're gonna go to the year 2004, where we take a look at Ace Combat 5, The Unsung War, the second game in the franchise on the PlayStation 2. How does this game fare? Find out next, which is all I gotta say. If you'd like to see here, subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Gaming Tonight. We're always looking for more people to join, and just click the link below to permanently that will not go away for 24 hours. Which all I gotta say is it's Tony, peace and out, have a great day, see you all in part 5 of 6.